the Fresno Focus Radio Hour. This is the No Focus Radio Hour. Comedy and insight from the greatest minds in Fresno. A Lightomine Media production. That's right. This is the No Focus Radio Hour, the #1 independent podcast in the Central Valley. Thank you for listening, and thank you for telling a friend. The No Focus Radio Hour is available anywhere podcasts can be found, including YouTube and your home smart speakers. Remember to subscribe and leave a review. It helps others discover our show. While you're reviewing, keep in mind 5 stars is the correct number of stars. If you enjoy our show, please share it with your friends. But if you hate it, share it with your enemies. Check out our site, nofocusradio.com, for exclusive content. Join us on social media. Our handle is at nofocusradio. You can find everything and more at nofocusradio.com, including the rest of our shows and links to Pardon the Intermission, all that good stuff. Take it away.
You know it's true. And I know just what I got to do.
What do you got to do?
Gonna hit this ground running. Running to my favorite podcast.
Ooh, what podcast
Gonna
is
hit
it?
the ground running. Gonna listen to NoFocusRadio.com.
Woo! That was very nice. That was
Thank
very
you.
nice. You sound really good. That's right. This is the No Focus Radio Hour, the #1 independent podcast in the Central Valley. It's made for those who live in the Central Valley, for those who miss the Central Valley, those who long to live in the Central Valley, and for those who
Can't wait for their turn to spin the wheel of prizes from the No Focus Radio Hour in the Central Valley. Oh, let me get it here. You can't hear it. You spun it in the beginning of the show. Maybe people.
Oh, nice.
There we go. Oh, guess what? Refill our beer.
Hey, nice.
It was funny. I spun it earlier when just a few minutes ago, and guess what I got?
Picture with Stu.
That's it. Yeah,
That's
I
so funny.
I think he had to do something to this. He rigged this game.
That is
everybody want a selfie with Stu.
Hilarious. Everybody got
I'm
a picture
jealous.
with Stu. Oh my goodness! So here we are, as always, with our beautiful cast of characters. It's a small cast today. But it's the best.
Half a cast of characters.
Half a cast. But it's the best part of the cast.
Oh, thank you, sir.
We
Thank
have
you.
with us Eric
You
the
as well.
Doorman.
Yes. Hey, everyone. How's it going? Yeah, pretty excited to be here. I almost didn't make it. We're going to talk about it. I had some electrical issues in the home
rough.
I had to fix last night. So, yeah. But
Those electrical issues, they'll get you.
oh, yeah, they will.
They'll get you.
How about you, sir? How are you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Yeah?
It's been a couple fun, interesting things. Also, some home issues.
Yeah,
on
yeah.
my side of things.
By the way, that is our one and only, the man, myth, and legend, Mr. Johnny Knobs.
Oh, hey, everybody. You know why they call me that, right?
No, why do they call you that?
It's pretty simple. It's because I control the volume.
Not messing around today. You know, we should have put that on the wheel of prizes. Why?
that
Guess
would've
why
been
they
great.
call you Johnny Knobs?
Dang it.
Oh,
Next time.
Next
That'll be
one.
good.
Yeah.
Hey, really quick, everybody, for those who were listening, wanted to say, especially if you're a new listener and you had just started listening because of the Shaver Lake Brew Fest.
And you made it past the song.
Yes, you made it past the song. Thank you very much. This is much more of a normal episode. We are missing a couple of our cast members, but this is more of the standard,
Podcast
show.
Yeah,
Podcast show.
It's just us in studio talking about hot topics of the day.
Oh, yeah.
Week, months, years.
Yeah, and kind of
everything.
What's going on, what's new, what's exciting.
It's funny, people said that to us out there when we were at the Brew Fest. People would ask, what's your show about?
Yeah.
And that's the I guess for me that was the most interesting question to try to answer because it really we cover so much in this show.
Yeah, and that's kind of the point. It's why it's a no focused show.
True. Yeah.
However, it also is hyper focused. What?
Sometimes.
So
Yes.
yeah, I kind of so those of you who are kind of listening and I'm interested in hop on the Discord server if you don't mind. You can get a link to that at nofocusradio.com. join our Discord server and let us know. Like, hey, what'd you like? Are you interested in more episodes like that? Was it a fun thing to listen to? And for those of you who are live subscribers, part of our Gold program there, did you like listening to that live? Because we can do more of those live shows as well. So, let us know. Comment, send us a note at nofocusradio.com and let us know.
Yeah, for sure, yeah. It was kind of fun. What did you think about that? See, now this is actually our first official show back from the Brew Fest. And to be honest, that was the first time we had done anything like that as a show. So it was kind of all just on the fly, seat of your pants type of podcasting out there. It was a lot different for us. Because because we usually have, like you said, we usually come in studio, we have topics we're talking about, and we're kind of, like you say, sometimes we go off into different directions, but we're pretty much topic driven. Yes. And being out there, we had to be more people driven because we just had people walking by. We tried to get into topics. It was funny. My wife even mentioned she listened to the shows and she goes, "Oh my gosh, you guys wouldn't let Stu talk."
Oh God!
Because every time he'd get into a story, he'd start, "Yeah, I have this great story I want to tell."
And then
would, "Hey, come over, spin the wheel." We're like, "Hey, come over here, spin the wheel." So it was so funny. She's like, "Man, you guys didn't even let him talk."
So your wife listened.
Yes, she did.
What did she think? I'd like to hear what she thought of the episode.
Oh, she thought it was fun, man.
Really? She actually enjoyed them?
Yeah, she actually enjoyed them. She thought it was pretty fun.
Oh, that's good. Because I do I do wonder. I've as somebody who started the podcast, and I take quite a bit of pride in making our podcast as high quality and sounding as good as we can.
For sure, I know you do that. Yeah.
I was worried. I really was. I was like, man, I don't know. Like, I listened to it, and I was a bit like, oh man. Like, I understand that for people who are listening to it live, you can become a gold member there at nofocusradio.com, so you can get all of our live shows. I figured that could be fun because you're commenting with us. You're just listening to us live. It's a fun thing.
Yeah.
But I didn't know how fun it would be listening afterwards. Now, I did listen to the episodes, and I did think they were fun. I thought they were fun.
Yeah.
But I didn't know if that's because in my mind's eye, I could see what we were doing.
Yeah, you had the context behind what we were saying.
So I am interested. I'm interested. So send us a note. Let us know what you think, because I'm interested to know if you enjoyed it.
I think that would be one of the critiques, especially for me. I think for us, like I said, it was kind of our first time. It was our first time being out there doing it live, and I think it'd be. I need to probably explain more as to setting the scene, what is going on at the time.
You're good at that. You do that really well on our show.
I try because I'm trying to listen to it as I'm trying to hear it as a listener would, that didn't know what was happening, right?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to explain stuff as it's happening. And when you're talking about, as far as you critiquing the show, I know you're listening to it as a producer.
Yeah.
Right. So I understand where you're coming from too. And, but yeah, overall, I think the experience was really good and was really positive. I think people actually were very receptive to us being out there, and I was amazed. To be honest, I was amazed how much participation we got from people. I thought people would just be walking by and be like, whatever. Because nobody even knows, right, who we are, what we do.
Right.
I don't think anybody listened to our show that was out there.
That was so funny. Well, no, we did. We had a couple people. We had Randy. We had Austin. We had a few people.
Well, yeah, but those are like Austin's. He's been on before.
Well, we don't need to tell everybody that. We had a lot of people who listened to our show. But it was an area of town that people don't really hear us because we're not really up in the mountains that often. So a lot of people didn't really know our show, but we had a lot of participation. And a lot of people who have since subscribed and started listening. So thank you, new listeners, and thank you, Jim, who's I'm going to buy some land from.
Oh yeah, that's right, Jim. Jim was like a real estate agent out there trying to sell you some stuff.
Jim, I have your phone number right here. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
But I think that's what we need. As a podcast, that's kind of fun for us too, to be out there to actually meet people and. And those people didn't come. Obviously, they came for the Brew Fest. They didn't come to see No Focus, right?
Well, I don't know about that. Let's not sell ourselves short here. I think it was like people were willing to pay $20 for the Brew Fest. The other $20 were really
came to us,
come to see us.
Did it come to us? I didn't see any of that. We got to talk to Austin about that.
Oh my gosh, you're right. We never got our check.
Yeah, we never got our check. We barely got a hat and a T-shirt out of it.
Yeah, actually, only one of us got a hat and a T-shirt.
I know the rest of us. Yeah, I was like, sorry, you got screwed.
Yeah, but we had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun out there.
It was a great experience. I want to do it again. I really do. I want to go out there and do some more live podcasting. And I hope the audience, when they listen to the shows, I hope they enjoy it too. Our standard audience,
100%.
That got to hear it. Yeah, and I agree with you, man. It'd be great if you guys had left some feedback.
Yeah, please do.
Let us know, how you thought the show went, how it sounded. This is brand new for us to be out there. So, yeah, we want to make the show better for you. I mean, that's the thing. We do come in here, and this isn't just for us to indulge ourselves and listen to our own voices. We want to make like you said, man, we want to make a great show for the audience. And we would love to hear some feedback and see if there's things you guys think we can improve on. If you loved it, if you love the win a prize wheel, we'll continue that. So let us know.
Appreciate it.
Was there some other things you want to say about the show though?
No, I think we pretty much summed it up. I forget what I was talking about before.
Because you were talking, and you're like, oh no, wait, we'll talk. We were talking previous before the show, and you're like, oh, I want to talk about it, and then they're like, but I'll wait, I'll hold off.
It was probably just this.
Okay.
I do want to say though a couple things. I'm not going to save this till the end, just in case we don't get to it. We met a couple people up at the Brew Fest, and it was I thought it was pretty cool people who. Sorry, I got distracted. These are some events that are coming up, and I wanted to pitch these. These are also some events that are coming up to help. Some charity events here. So there's the Pine Ridge Boosters. They present the 26th annual Loggers Jamboree. That is in Huntington Lake area. So for those of you who are in the Central California area.
Really want to escape the heat.
Yeah, this is going to be really cool. It's China Peak lands at China Peak Landing and Marina, Huntington Lake, 11 a.m. on August 6th. The gates open, 12 p.m. events begin. And this is actually only $10 to get in. And here's 12 and under kids are free. Usually like 2 and under, 12 and under. So
wow, that's
bring
nice.
Your whole family. They're going to have a beer garden, food trucks, a craft fair, a kids zone. So check that out. It's being sponsored by Donaghy Sales, same people who sponsored the Brewfest, so probably a good amount of beer up there. Check that out. And you can go to prsboosters.org, prsboosters.org to get your tickets and things like that.
Yeah, and I think that you could get the tickets, or they said that they will sell. I don't think they really had a limit. If I remember correctly, like she was saying that they would sell, like you could still go up there even if you didn't pre-buy them.
Yeah, she said that last year they sold like 3,000 tickets.
Yeah.
That's insane. Like, that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
So I would check that, and maybe she even said more. I forget. I can go back and listen to the episode, but I would check that out. That is really cool. So I'd go check out that event. That's the Loggers Jamboree, Pine Ridge Boosters Loggers Jamboree.
Was there a website?
Yeah, prsboosters.com. PRS Boost. And guess what? Guess where you can find that link if you're interested?
No Focus Radio.
Hey, that's right.
.com.
NoFocusRadio.com or in our show notes. So when you're listening, whatever podcast area you were listening to, just click below on the notes and it will be there. Also, Clovis Rotary and the Fresno Airport. I don't know. The Clovis Rotary and Fresno Airport District Rotary present. I don't understand what this says. Doesn't really matter. This is the second annual barbecue and brew, a hoedown at the Shed.
Oh, where's that? Where's the Shed at?
The Shed is at PR Farms, 2917 East Shepherd. I've never heard about this. This place sounds cool.
The Shed.
The Shed. Proceeds benefit the Rotary's seniors, helping seniors. Also sponsored by, I don't know, a lot of people. They're going to have a free beer tasting.
Wow.
You're going to get, let's see what else you get. Oh, my goodness. There's going to be live music and dancing. Dust off your dancing boots and join us for Mom Pa's Barbecue. Love Mom Pa's. They actually catered my wedding.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Dancing and music featuring John Pemberton. Ooh, the Pembertons. Games, raffles, dessert auction, and a complimentary beer tasting. So check that out. If you get your tickets before September 24th, you get $10 off your tickets. So check that out. Anyways, so check that out also in the show notes. So
cool.
Definitely. Those are some other local events to check out that are also helping raise money for good causes.
And this is kind of what we wanted to originally, I think, maybe not originally, but somewhere along the line, excuse me, we wanted to, do this kind of thing to promote all the events that were happening in the Valley.
Oh, yeah.
So this is great. If you guys have any events, let us know. We can promote it. You can come on and talk to us about it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So if you 100%, if you have something to talk about, we'll love to have you.
As a matter of fact, I think the I can't remember what her name was. The lady that was doing the jamboree. She said she wanted to come on.
Oh yeah,
and talk to us about that.
I gave her a
as it gets
card.
closer,
Hopefully she'll reach out there. Now for tickets, to get tickets at the barbecue and brew.
A hoedown at the shed.
Sadly they clovisrotary.com. Clovis Rotary. And also guess where you can get that link? Show notes. There you go.
And nofocusradio.com.
Nofocusradio.com.
And while you're there, too, No Focus Radio, do us a little favor and hit that button to buy us a coffee.
Yeah, that would be sweet. It really helps out.
Kind of helps us out, too, because like I said, we love bringing you these events. And actually, that's a great point. We'd love to go out and do a lot more live events. And if you guys enjoyed them, that's one way to get us out there is buy us a few coffees to send us out there so we can actually should be buy us some gas money.
Yes.
to head out to these events and maybe we can start covering things more, do a little more live events, start covering them live.
Yes.
That would be fun. He's
sorry, I'm talking really quick. You can see
he's I'm sorry, he's I was explaining. See, remember, I'm going back to how I'm giving people context here. He's typing right now, madly typing all this information in, so you guys get the information.
That's right. As we do the show
on the website,
I am sometimes I get distracted because I am also doing show notes at the time.
We've talked about this before. People don't understand. You're like the instead of Johnny Knobs, maybe you should be called the octopus or something because you're like
got hands everywhere.
You're pulling up stories. You're working the sound. You're putting in stuff on. I mean, you're doing like 20. I'm just sitting here talking into a mic. I kind of feel bad, and then I kind of don't.
You're like, I kind of feel bad, but I'm not gonna.
If I feel too bad, you're gonna give me a job, man. I don't know if I want another job. No, but I mean, but you're over here, man. You're like we should call you maybe fingers on fire or something.
I like that.
Johnny Knobs and his fingers on fire. He's like all over typing stuff in, putting in the website, controlling volumes. He's doing
crazy,
spinning the wheel of prizes.
Hey, I got some cool thing. I'm gonna switch it up over here really quick. So what's new with you?
Well, I was telling you, just as a matter of fact, it happened last night. So I had an electrical issue at the home, right? So I'm literally, which I knew this was going to happen. I'd have to get into it. So basically, I'm walking, I literally walked into a room. I don't know if it was a ghost or what, but I walked into a room. All of a sudden, the light and the ceiling fan go out. They just went out. I mean, they're just like stopped working. I'm like, oh, man. And this happened once before, and it kind of corrected itself. I like played with some breakers, and I was going to start to get into the wiring. And then all of a sudden, it just started working. I said, you know what? I'm tired. I'm done. I'll put everything back in. Anyway, it happened again, so I had to get into it. Well, come to find out, I think I figured it out. There's one light switch that kind of begins like, a lot of homes they have the wires come into they just like complete a whole circuit. Right? So there's like a whole room, or you get a room and you'll get half of the light switches and half of the plugs are kind of all together. Yeah. So I think what it was the light switch in the beginning of that circuit of that little portion. The wire was coming loose, and literally when I started to pull out to inspect wires, it broke off the back of the thing because it was just pushed in. Like a lot of times the electricians will tell you, you take the wire and you loop it around that little screw and then tighten it down. Do not push it in the back of the plug, and that's the easy, simple way to do it, but also over time it becomes loose and it becomes a problem. So,
and that's what whoever put this initial one in your house did that.
But it probably was like 30 years ago.
Right.
Put it in.
That's fair.
You know what I mean? It's been so anyway. So I fixed that, and everything seems to work now. Yeah. So I think I fixed the problem. But as I was explaining to you earlier, it's so funny because it's like I'm a very do-it-yourself guy, but with electricity, I just never took the time to learn, all the ins and outs and the volts and the everything else, right? And the amps and how that all works and everything. So it's like literally, I'm always trying to figure it out the last minute when I need to fix it instead of just learning how everything works so that I have a good understanding of going in.
Right.
And at the same time, right now, I don't really have like an electrician to go to. I don't have that person. I have maybe a buddy or two I can call and say, hey, what do you think? What's your best guess? But I don't have like an official electrician.
Right.
And that's the problem, I think. In my experience right now is I don't have a lot of good go-to people that are solid, like plumbers and electricians and these guys and that. And so anyway, so that's what I've been dealing with. I wasn't, so I had to my Friday night ended up being doing electrical work on the house, and thank goodness it didn't affect the air conditioning, because otherwise we would have been in big trouble. But you were also talking about how you had some issues too, right?
Yes, I've same sort of thing. Houses. I'm going to tell you guys what I bought this house, and for those of you who have listened to the show for the last 12 years or whatever it is, you've heard a lot of interesting stories about me and my house. It's always like I try to do something simple, and it always turns into a nightmare. And a quick recap, I bought this house in a short sale in 2012. It's a Centex home. I got it for a nice price. However, over the last 12 years, or however long it's been, 12 years, I have put more money into it than if I had bought a new house, I think.
Really?
It's been So this house I got, and shortly after I moved in, I got a letter in the mail saying there was a giant class action lawsuit against Centex Homes, because this house was built during the big housing boom, 2007, 2008.
Okay.
And
this was basically a new house when you got it, essentially.
Yeah, it was only a couple years old.
Yeah.
And the problem was, during that housing boom time, and I'm sure anybody who bought a house that was built during that time has had similar issues. There was they were just hiring anybody. So, like, you bought a house from Centex or Lennar or some builder. They were just subcontracting out to anybody who had a hammer, essentially, because they needed people.
Yeah.
There was
it was crazy. Houses were just going up.
They were just going up
overnight.
There was very little inspection.
Always a problem. Yeah.
Very little. Like, people really didn't know what they were doing. In fact, so I got this thing in the mail. Centex was getting sued by like everybody because they were using like unlicensed subcontractors, and nothing was doing. And I had just moved in, and I was like, oh, geez, like, first of all, I'm like, I don't really want to be part of this because whatever, I'm going to get like $1 and whatever.
Yeah, it's a class action. Yeah,
it's pointless. But anyways, cents. This went on for I kept on getting this stuff in the mail, just update. And then at one point, they actually just sent an inspector out, and they're like, hey, can we just inspect your house for all the things? We just have to get, like, I said, yeah, sure, whatever. And of course, all of the issues, like, I have areas in my house that just aren't like squared correctly. So there's like cracks because I have all the concrete in the house underneath the ground has cracked like everywhere.
Really?
It's terrible. So we have major like ant problems because it's just cracked all the way through.
Wow.
We have pipe issues. Actually, we have a tankless water heater system in this house that it came with.
Yeah.
And also one of these like salts, water softener systems.
Oh yeah, okay.
Which I hate. And I moved in, and shortly after I moved in, I was like, I should probably get this thing serviced. I don't know when it was ever serviced,
Yeah, sure.
They come out, and they're like, oh, you have to go flush it. And outside the house, there's supposed to be like, there's this like door that you open up, and you can hook a hose up to it, and you flush the system because there is salt in there, and you don't want the salt to like ruin your pipe. So you're supposed to flush it like every couple years. They open it up, and they're like, uh-oh. I said, what? He said, there's no valve. They didn't even put a valve in to flush this thing. Like, you just got nothing. And I was like, what do I do? He was like, oh, you just keep on using it. Eventually, you're going to start tasting like salt, and your water's going to start coming out bad. And at that point, you're going to have to redo your piping. And I'm like,
no way.
That's serious. So, like,
and the pipes are in this house. Are they in the foundation? Right? They're not the overhead, or are they overhead?
Yeah, foundation.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like essentially screwed.
So they don't. Yeah, when they redo the piping like that, I've had issues with my house. It's a Wathen Castanos, and it's built in the 70s. Right? They built like a ton of them. Okay. But I've heard that, and I've heard several people with. Sorry to kind of chime in.
No,
here, but,
go for it,
just
please.
To break in real quick. Several people with the Wathen Castanos issue is that for some reason, the type of cement they use for the foundation interacts with the hot water pipe.
Oh, interesting.
And so it deteriorates it. And I've known I think three people now who have had these issues where they've had leaks in their foundation. And so what I was getting at with you is that essentially what would happen is that you have a choice. You can try to dig up your foundation and figure that out. But if it's replace all your pipes, then you would have to go this other way, which is basically they come in and they do overhead drops.
Gotcha.
So they put all the water lines, like in the new houses, they have all that it's not a PVC pipe, but it's some other, pipe that they use for water, and they do it all overhead. It's all in the attic, which I'm sure can cause its own set of problems. If it ever gets a leak, your
I'd rather
roof's
have that
coming in.
easier
But
to fix.
But anyway, they'll do drops where they put it in, and then they just basically take in the attic, and they have to drop it down to all the places where you need. So
nice.
anyway,
yeah, because also
but that's very expensive too.
Expensive, yeah. But so also we have this wall here in the studio. That wall is actually a giant. In there is a lot of piping because that's where a lot of the hot water system is inside that wall. So it's kind of been anyways, this house has just kind of been a nightmare for everything becomes. You've heard about me trying to change like the sinks in my house, which turned into like a 4-week nightmare.
Yeah.
Everything. So all that to say, always small issues in this house. And I keep on finding every time I think something's going to be simple, it turns into a nightmare.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So we just got we ordered a new dishwasher. We need a new dishwasher. Our dishwasher is starting to. It's 15 years old.
Okay.
And it's not working that well anyway. It's not. They don't make it like they used to. Like I remember, my parents had a dishwasher for like 50 years, and it worked great.
Well, that's because they just used all the water.
Yeah, it's true.
Now they got so many limitations on it. You can only get a drip of water on the dish to clean it.
It's true. It's also like they
just had this thing blasting, right? It's like a jet stream of water. It would like peel
super hot water.
Peel the skin off your hand if you had it.
Use diesel to heat up the water. So this one is starting to not work that well. Yeah. It's long. It has issues. We ordered a new dishwasher. They came to deliver it. The guy comes in, great guy, mind you. He comes in, he's very smart. He comes in just to make sure to measure it and everything. And he says, uh-oh. And I go, what? He goes, huh. And he starts he goes, yeah, I can't install the new one.
No.
I said, why? He goes, well, in fact, I can't even get your old one out.
What?
So here's the thing. I got new countertops put on a couple months, 6 months ago.
Okay.
Standard countertops with the lip on the end, which is all supposed to work.
And it looks great. Your whole kitchen
great.
looks
Yeah,
great. You talked about it on the show,
Yeah.
how you had your whole kitchen redone.
Problem here is this. The actual counters in my home, from the floor to the top of the counters, are a half-inch shorter than they're supposed to be. Which means that when they put the countertops on, they didn't make a mistake. Countertops are fine. But because they have a lip, it went over the dishwasher, we can't scoot the dishwasher out.
No.
Because it's stuck underneath the counters.
No.
Yeah. So he said, okay, one thing we can do is we can saw the legs off of your old dishwasher and then just saw the crap out of it and then get it out, dismantle it underneath there.
Okay.
But then we can't get the new one in.
But how do you get the new one in? Yeah.
You don't. So we have no idea what to do at this point. That's my story. My story is we have no way to get a dishwasher put in there at this point. And we can't figure out what the hell to do. Because a dishwasher is always 34 inches high. They're 34 inches.
Yeah, they're all standard, so they can just slide into
34 inches. You typically need about a 1/4 inch clearance to make sure for the padding and things like that.
Okay. Let me ask you this then. Would you have had, if you had known this before the new countertops, would you have had them try to make some kind of, is it the framing that's too short, or is it the actual countertop lip that is
the lip is standard. So the lip is fine. So,
but I mean, if you were to pull it out, but I mean, right now you're saying you can't pull out that dishwasher.
Right.
So what is a half inch longer? Is it the lip of the countertop?
So in theory, if the countertops are the correct height, the counters themselves, the wooden counters, if they're the correct height, the lip wouldn't be a problem.
Okay.
So now the lip is a problem though. So in theory, if I didn't have a lip on the counters, I'd be able to pull it out and put a new one in.
What are the countertops made out of?
Quartz. We'd have to lift off. We'd have to do a whole reinstall of those countertops.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So we're just stuck. Now there's an option which we think possibly might work. The problem is we don't know. We'd have to rip out the tile underneath and everywhere around it to hopefully get like an extra 1/4 inch. And then when we get the new dishwasher,
put the tile back in.
Saw those legs off and see if we can then fit it under.
You can't do that.
We're stuck. This is where we're at.
Well, the thing is because those legs, right? They have to. I mean, they still have a little bit. The legs are adjustable.
Yeah.
They have to level off that dishwasher.
Yeah.
So if you saw legs off, how are you gonna level the dishwasher?
I don't know, but now we have a broken dishwasher. It's sitting in a.
And there's no way they can modify that. The company that put the countertops in can come in and somehow modify that.
I mean, I guess
spot.
In theory, you could
would that look
cut
goofy?
A chunk off of your counters, which is going to look really weird. It's a nightmare. Yeah.
I'm speechless right now.
I
don't know.
So we don't know what to do. So that's it. We measured. The guy was like really great. He was like, "Look, your counters are solid. Everything's fine here. It's not the counters that are the countertops, not the problem. It's the actual counters. It's too short.
The framing.
The framing is too short.
That they put the counter in.
Yeah.
How much is it to what? Did you talk to the company that put the countertops in? Could they do a
Come
reinstall?
in and lift it up. I haven't yet. That might be the next bit. But I mean,
you would have to do that.
It's not going to be cheap, though. I mean, imagine you have to come in, unglue the counter, rip it off. God. And those are giant quartz pieces. That's where I'm at. Welcome to home ownership, everybody. Yeah.
And there's no other dishwasher.
So there's one. No, we looked up the only one. This guy was smart. He said the shortest dishwashers you can get are LGs. They have the lowest adjustable legs. They can go down to 33 and 5/8, 33.6. But I mean, we only have 33.5 is the only amount of space we have. So, like, even if so that's the thing. We'd have to somehow adjust, like maybe if we shave off part of the plastic leg and then squeeze it in, but there's not going to be any but then say we squeeze it in and like we tilt it and get it up, but then can the top open, or is the top going to get stuck on the lip? And we won't know until we dismantle our other dishwasher. And
I mean you're probably looking at me. My jaw. I mean my jaw is just wide open right
crazy.
now. I'm in shock right now.
This is God, my microphone, man. You know what I'm realizing?
What is it?
I hope it's not my mic that's broken. Because we've tried multiple cables.
You know what you need? You need to get one of these other mics. Is that the same mic you always use? Or is...
You know what?
Maybe we need to take a quick commercial break here and have you...
Hey, guys, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
We're going to take a quick commercial break, as you said. And we'll be right back after a word from our sponsor,
Syntax Homes.
We're from our sponsor, Lennar Homes.
Oh, is it Lennar?
Yeah. No, mine's a Syntax, but I'm saying,
yeah.
Home.
No, that's what I meant, from Syntax.
Yeah, from Syntax. What a POS. Oh, goodness. All right, we'll be right back.
Imagine living on the surface of the sun.
You don't have to imagine it, you're there! It's summer and Fresno's greatest escape room is open for business. Why sweat outside when you can pass out from heat exhaustion in our unventilated escape room?
Try to solve our puzzles and turn on the air conditioning
before you and your friends start convulsing. Don't let the summer heat stop you from having the adventures you desire.
Going to the hospital could be an adventure.
Yeah, and the funeral that happens later is an adventure that you don't get to see. Fresno's greatest escape room needs you!
Because all of our other customers are, well, kinda dead.
Located next to St. Agnes Hospital.
Ambulances are standing by.
Hey, yeah, we're back. You know what?
Back. That was pretty good. That commercial. I like that.
Have you been there?
No, I haven't.
You haven't been to that one
because
yet?
I'm still live. So
I'm planning on heading over there this weekend.
Really?
Yeah, but I'm waiting for my life insurance to kick in. So
does it cover escape rooms?
Well, it covers, I think, a heat stroke, and so.
Oh, okay, there you go. Yeah. What about heat stroke from escape rooms?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. I hope so.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna.
Self-inflicted heat
I went
stroke.
ahead and bought a $20 million plan there. So
well, that'll be good. That way your family can get a new dishwasher.
Yeah.
Can get a new countertop installed with the correct height with that money.
They can finally sell this place. And
well, that's the other thing too. People don't realize going back to that other topic. People don't realize how expensive it is to own a home. I mean, I think people think it's so funny how home ownership is sold these days, and it's sold by the banks, right? Back in the day, it was really hard to get a home loan. This is before all the fun money was passed around back in the early 2000s there. Funny money.
Oh, yeah.
But, you had to really jump through a lot of hoops. And the reason, too, was because the mortgages were backed by the bank.
Right.
So the bank itself backed the mortgages. And I can't remember what the law, what was it? Do you remember offhand? I remember it was in the Clinton administration. What they did is they opened it up to where they could start bundling these mortgages together and selling them off. And that's where the problem began. But when the mortgages were backed by one bank, you literally had one bank that held your mortgage.
The Dodd-Frank Act?
Was that it, the Dodd-Frank Act?
I believe so.
So you had one bank that held your mortgage together. This was before the Dodd-Frank, and that was it. If you went and got a mortgage through B of A or Wells Fargo, they had your paper for 30 years until you paid the thing off, right? Yep. And so that's why we didn't have all this crazy, but people that could qualify. So that's why it was very stable. It was a very stable market. It was a very good investment. Then they started that Dodd-Frank where it's like basically gambling. It's a casino now. And they could bundle all these mortgages and sell them off to all these.
Yeah, and they bundle them, not just mortgages. They can bundle school loans.
Student loans,
They can bundle commercial loans. They bundle it.
Car loans.
As everything. And then people buy and sell them as if you are, investing in something.
Yeah. And so what I'm getting at, though, is for the homeowner, though, is what this is, it creates a market that like a fake market.
100%.
Because they had the big crash back in 2007, 8, around in there. And then now it's like funny because we think that during COVID, there'd be a lot of homes that were foreclosed on, right? Because people, the economy was terrible. People lost jobs. But then all of a sudden, magically, nothing happened.
It didn't make any sense. So I was like waiting. I was like, man, the market's going to crash. Nothing.
Well, what I'm getting at, though, is it kind of makes you think, they're still selling that the American dream, buy a home.
Right.
But at the same time, homeownership is very expensive. Yeah. To own a home, because you've got to take care of, like you say, you got to put in new counter. If your AC goes out, if your plumbing goes out, you're paying for all that yourself. Yeah. And at the same time, though, this is supposed to be an investment that you have, but yet if it's not built on a very strong foundation, right? Then how do I know that 30 years my mortgage is going to be worth anything?
It's very true. Yeah. So wait, you're starting to sound a little bit like a World Economic Forum. Are you trying to tell me that you don't want home ownership?
You will own nothing and enjoy it, love it.
I think what you're saying is home ownership is great. However, they have changed what home ownership really is.
That's what I'm getting at.
Because now we don't really own our home. Even if you think you own it, really, if you have one of these crazy mortgages and everything, you're just at the mercy of banks collapsing. Yeah. And funny money and everything else.
And yeah, exactly. And the whole system collapsing. Now, before, things are never completely stable. They had the Depression of the 30s and all that. Fine. But, for a long time, property was a very, I've always heard, very solid investment. Right. People love it because it's something tangible. It's very tangible.
And it's the only thing that there's only so much. You can't make more.
Yeah, true. But they've turned that into now, this whole game with, the banks and stuff, that it's made it very unstable.
Yeah, very true.
So, no, I still think homeownership is the way to go, especially when have you checked out rents lately, too?
It's insane. Yeah. Right now. Insane.
I've got there's a guy that at my work that he is literally paying more for a 1-bedroom apartment
than your mortgage,
than my mortgage is on my house.
And that's very common now, I think.
And I'm like, that is, and I used to, when I would see people do that, that was back in the day when I was paying, like if somebody had a home and they were paying $800 a month, and this is way back in the days, right? And I was paying maybe $300, right, for rent on a single. It's like, okay, it's like, well, a few $100s, I'll get there and I'll make, okay. But this is nuts.
Now you're paying $2,500 a month for an apartment, if not more.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait a second, I could have a mortgage for.
Well, could you though? That's the thing.
Well, yeah, not anymore.
Can you even get in a house now?
No, not really.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's a new track home is $600,000 in Fresno now. Insane.
And they're still putting them up like crazy.
Yeah. It's all it's the Bay Area people relocating. So prices are skyrocketing.
Well, here's the thing. Let me ask you this. What do you think on that? They keep saying there's a housing crisis. Like, we don't have enough houses. We don't have enough. But they're putting up apartment complexes like crazy. Every empty space, I see more apartments going up now than houses.
Yeah.
So is there really a crisis? What's going on here?
I don't understand what they're talking about.
Are we going to end up being like these abandoned cities in China where they just build these huge cities and nobody's in them?
Yeah, they say we are short 3.8 million housing units. Now, that's not true. The California housing shortage. California, we're short 3 to 4 million housing units in California.
What are they basing that on?
Just BS. Who knows?
Experts say.
The housing crisis. So I don't think that's a real thing. I think that there is housing crisis. No, because here's the thing. That's how many houses, where did everybody live before they moved to like Fresno? There's not a housing crisis. Now they might say there's an affordable housing crisis. They might say but people are moving from one house to another. It means their other house is still there. Now there might be a nice housing
like they
crisis.
tear down the house.
Right.
In the old days, that's what the pioneers did.
Oh yeah.
They would actually, in the old days, when they moved from one area to another, we're talking like, they would have big trips, right? We're talking like from state to state type of thing. They would burn down their house.
Ah.
You know why?
No, tell me.
Because they would burn down their house. You would think why? Because they don't want people living in it? Well, no. The reason they would burn it down is because then they would go in after it burned and collect the nails, because nails were so expensive.
Oh, smart.
You got to understand, you couldn't, it's not like they didn't have mass production back then. I mean, literally, they had to make, each nail, right?
Yeah.
So you paid a lot. I mean, it was a very high price for nails. So you'd go in, they would collect all the nails after the house had burned down and then carry them to the next place, and that's what they would use to build the new house.
That's interesting, because nails, if you think about it, first of all, the metal is expensive, and you had to have somebody making them by hand. You had blacksmiths making these things. I'll tell you why.
For sure.
Why the housing crisis is just fake. I'll tell you why. It's because they can blame everything on it. California housing shortage triggers a cycle of despair. They're saying that the reason that we have the housing crisis, according to CaliforniaMatters.org, is the reason we have high housing crisis, the worst poverty, and the highest level of homelessness. It's a way to blame. Oh, it's because Gavin Newsom, for instance, says the housing crisis is because we have homelessness, and no, it's because our socioeconomic division between those who can enjoy California's matchless scenic and cultural wonders and its powerful economy and those who struggle to survive is because of the housing crisis. That's like, it's an excuse.
It's an excuse,
what it is. It's a way to say, it's not my fault. It's the housing crisis.
It's not my policies, my terrible policies.
Right.
Yeah.
And the housing crisis, this is from, of course, Wikipedia. Let's find the actual link here. They have been saying that we're in a housing crisis since, let me see here.
An ongoing one?
The 70s.
Really?
Is what it says.
Does it say that?
It does. It says that. There we go. Here it is. This is from the California's housing costs. Let me see here.
And LA,
housing in California has been more expensive than most of the country. Beginning in about 1970, our housing crisis began.
Wow. And this is from a report, Legislative Analyst Office, so the lao.gov.
I'll post that in the show notes. You can download the PDF here in the show notes.
The report. That
See, that's what they've been saying it since the 70s.
One crisis after another.
Always, man.
Isn't that it's kind of like, it's like a Hegelian
dialectic.
Well, the Hegelian dialectic, but it's rolled into the Klaus Schwab.
Oh yeah.
Soros, philosophy of you will own nothing and you will enjoy it.
It's just the worst. Let me see here. I'll say the subject is housing crisis since the 70s. Putting some show notes in there. That way you guys can get that PDF there in the show notes.
Oh, there you go. Look.
So, I don't know, man. There's so much BS. Let's move on. Let's move on a little bit.
Yeah,
here.
sure. Go ahead.
Let's see what else we got on our housing crisis. Gonna get into some local news.
Speaking of, listen, before we get off of housing, since we're on it, let's transition to Clovis. What's going on in Clovis? It's the best place to do what in Clovis?
It's right. It's the best place to live in
Whoa,
Clovis. Can you imagine?
Congratulations, Clovis.
Oh, my goodness. So, according to
Yes.
according to
According to who?
to livability.com, I don't know what
Are these just places that make their own? I mean, they're just
I
companies
would
that
love to look this up.
Livability.
Livability Clovis.
Yeah, livability. Let's see if this is a real.
I can't even find. Oh, here we go. Moving to livability.com.
So is this just some website that is clickbait website stuff?
It's got to be. Yeah.
It says the top 100 best places to live in the U.S. in 2023.
I guarantee you, it's just they have this for every city.
They have like 50 different Clovises listed. One's
the
in New
top
Mexico.
100 best places to live in the U.S. Blessed. It's blessed, baby.
The blessed place to live.
For 10 years now, we have done blah, 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 blah. How we choose our cities. We've partnered with the Applied Geographic Solutions, the AGS,
Oh
to select our
gosh.
top 100 best places to live. Together, we curated our cities based on nearly 100 data points and an algorithm taking into account a measure of a city's economy, housing, cost of living, amenities, transportation, environment, safety, education, and health. You can check out their top 100 methodology. So we can look at that really quick. They look at the economy, housing, employment opportunity, average vehicles per household, population density, air quality, crime rates, education, life expectancy, hospital,
And they still pick Clovis?
And they say that Clovis is in the top 100 places to live.
Congratulations. Unless, you know what they didn't factor in, though? People who own chickens.
Oh, my God. Yeah,
Unless you own chickens. It's not a favorable environment. So they don't want you.
They say some quick facts here. The walking score is 614,218.
I'm just like, what does that even mean?
They don't tell you. They say the median home value is $383,000.
Would you? I'd agree with that, I guess. Huh? Was it gone up? Maybe it was what, 450 now?
It's got to be.
Medium?
Yeah, median, yeah.
Medium.
Population 121,000. See, they're not they're just, but look, if you keep doing, they're literally taking into account only the Clovis city.
Yeah.
Not, I mean, and keep in mind, people in Fresno, Clovis area, we think about Clovis going from like, you know, I mean, Clovis is
like to the foot, like basically stretching all the way to foothills from maybe Willow
exactly.
and Knees.
Their Clovis is city limits. They stop before DeWolf, before Shields. So it's literally like Tarpey Village. Blackbeards isn't even in part of it. It's Tarpey Village to
all the way up to
Shepherd. That's
Yeah.
it. Buchanan High School is the end of it, and to Harlan Ranch.
Oh, they got Harlan Ranch in there because, you know.
Yeah, but actually, no, it's not. Look at Harlan Ranch isn't. Oh, yeah, it is.
No, it isn't there.
It is in
They
there.
needed they needed those statistics, so
That's
they.
right. Yep, you're right. But
Is that literally the is that a map they drew, or is that the city?
I think that's the city because look, let me see
the
where
city.
my house is. I am on.
Are you in the city limits?
No, technically I'm in Fresno. No, you know what? Oh yeah, this is the right one because look, this makes sense. Because
Let's see, we're looking here.
I live on.
Don't tell people where you live.
Right here.
So my address is 1234.
Yeah, no, this is right because I live right here. So there's my house.
Oh yeah. Okay, gotcha.
And literally,
we're looking at a map, folks.
Looking at a map. And so this is my house right here. Okay?
Oh wow, yeah, I see it.
Before you get to this street, right? If I walk out my door and walk maybe 20 steps, I'm in Clovis.
You're in Clovis, yeah.
But I'm in Fresno right now.
That is so weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I would expect this to be Clovis.
Yeah, should be.
Yeah.
But it's not.
So are you in Clovis school systems out here?
I pay Clovis taxes.
Okay.
But I don't get the Clovis amenities. I get the Fresno. Like I get the one trash day instead of the two trash days.
Do they have 2 trash days in Clovis?
Yeah, right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't live in Clovis. I don't know.
Oh, you're one of the poor people like me?
Yeah.
Damn.
But I do get I am in an area where I can get into Clovis schools, but I just
I'm in
don't
Clovis
get
schools, but we don't
school
get the
district,
other,
but I don't
Yeah, so that's how I am. Yeah, we don't get
So I don't know if I agree with that.
No, that's all they say. They don't give you any other information. It just is. There's no other information.
Well, you know, I mean, people always thought too. The other thing was that people always thought, you know, Clovis was a very conservative area, And that's what I kind of thought too until they basically threw out people's chickens out in the street.
Yeah.
I was like, what? You can't have chickens in Clovis.
No, it used to be. It used to be somewhat conservative, but the Valley used to be conservative. Now we're essentially a blue blop within blue California. So.
Yeah, we're basically just a mini LA, San Francisco.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Oh, hey, I was gonna say you kind of brought up an interesting thing. I don't know if you want to jump into it, kind of to switch gears here. You were talking about the what was it? The something summit.
Yeah. Well, we can get into that, but let me do the.
Sure. Go ahead.
Do you want to talk about this home really quick? Is this something that you want to talk about? The Crave?
Sure, we can throw it. Well, might as well. We're doing homes, right?
Exactly. I figured we'd talk about homes.
We'll throw the homes in there. Well, this is a kind of interesting story that I think who was it? GV Wire had. Actually, it's kind of cool. My wife had brought this to my attention. There's an older home. I don't know if a lot of people here in the Fresno area, if you're familiar, you should be. There's this one home, and it's an old abandoned home. It's a brick home. It's off of Palm, and I think it's just north of Sierra. If you're driving north, it'd be on your left-hand side. It's kind of sat back, and it's a complete brick home. I've seen it for years. And this place has been abandoned. I always thought, man, that'd be such a cool house to redo and live in, actually. Mm-hmm. I didn't know it had such a storied history, though. But apparently, there's a local developer who actually has bought the home. It went through many different hands through the years. Luckily, it hadn't got demolished, and I think they're trying to put it, or they did put it on the historical register. But this home, like I said, is completely made out of bricks. And it seems like this local developer is actually going to redo the home, probably I think he's going to turn it into office space or something. But of course, local developer, he's going to put apartments behind it. Wah, wah, wah. But anyway, this home has an interesting history. It's actually called the Craycroft home.
I love that. It sounds like an old, something from a movie.
Yeah.
Like the Craycroft home. Yeah.
Well, and it sounds like, I think if you scroll up, is it Frank J. Craycroft?
Frank J. Craycroft, heir to the Craycroft Brick Company.
Now, his father was named Columbus, and apparently he had moved here, I think, in the 1800s, and started at some point. He was a contractor, 1886, came to Fresno in 1886. He worked as a contractor, it says here. And then he opened up a brick-making company. Mm-hmm. And, and his whole thing was that his bricks were made of a quality that in the, valley heat, that would withstand the valley heat. It wouldn't break down.
That's what I'm reading. I think that's really cool that even local realtors now, it says local realtors know that they distinguish a good home because if a brick has the Craycroft name, they know that the bricks are larger and hold up better to valley weather.
Well, yeah.
That's really cool.
Well, and it says that the bricks from his company went into the Fresno Water Tower.
Wow.
Manchester Center, which is soon to be known as Alameda.
Yes.
From the book, friend of the show.
Wow.
Stephen Cochran.
Jay Cochran.
There's a Fresno State Student Union building. Some of the buildings there. The old Fresno Courthouse, that's no longer standing though, unfortunately. But yeah, it was kind of interesting. So this guy, Columbus Craycroft, built this house and completed it in 1927. Unfortunately, he had passed 2 years later. Okay. But he built this house, I guess, as kind of a flagship to show that, this is, it was an advertisement.
Yeah.
That, my bricks, look at this. Here, my bricks can build this whole house. The other interesting thing, though, too, about this house, or I guess about the father, Columbus, is that apparently he fell off a roof. That's how he passed away. Then there was also some rumor that he was possibly shot by an employee, and that's why he fell off the roof.
Oh, my gosh.
By a disgruntled employee. And then the family has come out and said, well, yes, but the gunshot wound didn't actually kill him. It was the fall. So.
Oh, my goodness. So, question, though.
This is crazy. This is crazy drama.
Did he fall off the roof of this Craycroft home?
I don't know. They don't specify. It just says he fell off a roof.
Goodness me.
No, I think the home was completed and he had died 2 years later.
Gotcha. Okay.
So he had already, But yeah, it is, I kind of love this because I love this in the sense of that I love preserving valley history and a lot of these older homes and stuff, instead of them just being demolished for all the modern nonsense, they're actually preserved and I love it. I mean, we're looking at pictures right now. You can go on the GV Wire and you have it in the show notes.
Yeah, go to the show notes. We got links there for you.
And you could see pictures of this home from back in the day. And I'm not sure, who is that? Is that Frank? It says Craycroft home. They have a person standing out in front of it, but it may be Columbus, the father. And then Frank obviously inherited the business after his father.
I don't know. The craziest thing is this photo was only taken last year, and that's the ghost of Columbus Craycroft.
Yeah, we need to send. That's what we need to send in there is those ghost hunters,
That's right.
those ghost hunter guys to see if he could they could talk to that guy. But yeah, so it's very interesting. He wants to do. He wants to restore it back with the photos back to the original look. And yeah, very, very interesting. There was a nice garage behind it. They said that didn't, unfortunately, it wasn't built as well as the house, and it didn't survive. It had been torn down. But yeah, that is very cool. I don't know. What do you? I love that, man. I love when they preserve historic buildings and they don't say Bitwise on them.
I know. Isn't that great? You know what's a bummer is this.
The studio apartments behind it, they're building.
Well, it says that when the same guy, I guess, restored the PG&E building. Now the Jeffrey Scott Agency is there. Is that they restoring it? They, of course, this building needs to. Sorry, he restored that, and same thing he's doing with this building is because he's restoring it. The county is making them reinforce it for earthquake standards.
Yeah,
which means they have to change the whole exterior of the house. So instead, he's working with this guy, Paul Halagian Architects and BSE Engineering, where they're actually designing straps inside the house that
won't be seen from the outside.
Won't be seen that reinforce it. That's a cool idea. I'm not going to ruin the house, but we're going to put straps all over it.
Well, what cracks me up is that this house has stood for how long?
Exactly.
Been through how many earthquakes at the valley? I mean, we don't really feel them here, not like L.A. or San Francisco.
It's been here for 110 years, and the city's like, oh, you want to make it better? You got to put some reinforcements.
You got to put, this thing's already stood the test of time, but let's reinforce it.
As if we redid the outside, as if it would last longer.
Yeah.
If we redid the outside, the first earthquake we got, that house would fall apart. And this one's like, no, we're good.
Well, and then, yeah, exactly.
So
well, probably the retrofitting is going to weaken it.
100%. Well, that's really cool. I like
that. That was kind of a cool little story. Thanks to my wife for bringing that to our attention. Because we always would drive by that house, and I see that place, and I'm like, man, that would be such a cool place, And I always wanted to go inside and look at it, and I think that, what they really should do, and I know there's a lot of museums, and I don't even know. I think, why not just turn it into like a museum or something where you can walk through it. Maybe have a turn into a museum where it celebrates, all the local contractors and developers and architects over, and have over time, and just kind of a walkthrough thing. And you could really get a good history of, like you were talking about, the Wathan Castanos, those homes around this area, that has a big history. They have homes all everywhere, Fresno, and Clovis. I mean, those homes, that was the big developer back then.
Yeah, most of those really nice cabins up there near Shaver on the water, those were all Wathan Castano.
Really? Are they?
Yeah.
So, I mean, why they should. Why not just turn it into that? Well, it's because, I don't know, office space. Nobody's working from the office anymore. Everybody's working from home anyway.
Right.
But so maybe just another idea thrown in there.
I like that. No, it's a cool story. It's neat.
Yeah.
The Craycroft home.
So if you're ever in that area, look for it. It's covered by fence, and they got cyclone fence around it and stuff. It's hard to miss, but it's a beautiful home. It's weird because it's kind of sitting there, and there already are. What's strange about it is I don't know how much land is behind it. Now, they say they want to put these studio apartments behind it.
Yeah, 6
but
apartments.
there's already like a bunch of apartments and other things around it.
It says it's on 1 acre, so it's not that much land.
Yeah.
Not that much land. It's going to be some small apartments, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, one more. Do 2 more little quick stories about Clovis area. I think this is kind of a sad story. So, first of all, I didn't know. Have you heard of Monkey Dog Coffee?
No.
I don't know about them either. They're a Clovis coffee company, Monkey Dog Coffee. Apparently, they started in 2017 as Blackstone Avenue Coffee.
Huh.
And in 2021, they opened this. It's at West Ashland Avenue in Clovis. Honestly, I don't even know where that is. Let me do a quick search so we can talk about this.
So they said that originally they were on Blackstone Avenue.
Yeah, they're on Ashland, near the Winco. So,
okay.
Yeah, interesting.
Oh, yeah, they're right next to that FedEx shipping
by like the
center.
Rallies, right before.
Isn't there a Costco over there too?
The old Costco.
That's right. That's not even. Oh, that's not even
it's
there
like
anymore.
Ashland
That's right.
and Villa, essentially. Now it's the old Costco is now the social work. Building.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
They turned it into that.
Department of Social Work.
Oh my god.
So, anyways, this they've been here, I guess, for a little bit. Monkey Dog Coffee, and They were called Blackstone Coffee. They moved shops. They're no longer on Blackstone. They called it Monkey Dog, which is a combination of nicknames he and his wife call their kids. Anyways, there is certain rules about, like, when you have a certain type of company, you can't really start another similar company. You have to kind of get it approved by the city. Well, the city has approved opening a Starbucks.
That's 400 feet away.
Less than 400 feet away from Monkey Dog Coffee.
Now, originally it said, did it say 700? Where when you were scrolling, scroll down, I think it said that, what's the original?
It says, according to the Planning Commission, a public notice about the planning application was sent to the property owners within 700 feet of the property boundaries. City staff has not received any inquiries prior to the finalization. However, now it is less than 400 feet away, apparently. I don't really understand that.
Well, it's because Starbucks has the money. I mean, they got the...
Oh, it's actually exactly 325 feet away.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, so
it's going to be located at the former site of the Costco gas station.
Yeah.
Or this is where the Starbucks will be.
So that's kind of I think that really sucks. I think that's when you have... I think this is the kind of thing that that cities, especially Clovis, really should be smart about. It's like, look, if you want your city to be a thriving city, and you say, buy local, and that's our thing, then you should help support the local companies.
Exactly.
You shouldn't say, oh, you know what? Starbucks is going to pay us some money. Great, screw you. Like, what happens is you become just any other city. Like, what makes a city, when you travel, what makes a city fun is the local spots. Like, you don't go to a city, you're traveling, and, you're like, oh, I'm not going to go to the Applebee's. You're going to ideally find this cool local place, and you're going to find a local coffee shop, a local bookstore, a local whatever. And we're just slowly ruining that here. So we have this.
I think that mindset, what you're talking about, though, that mindset is drifting away, though. Because, because what happens is that these companies, these corporations get people locked into whatever, like Starbucks, right? Oh, I've got money on my Starbucks card. Where's the nearest Starbucks? Right. So people are, like you're saying, venturing in the new town. They're going to the local Starbucks.
It just really killed. And they asked City of Clovis.
But you're right.
City of Clovis's official words when saying,
"Okay, here we
hey,
go.
How are you about you're essentially going to put this local family out of business."
Yeah.
And this local company, they do. They're raising money. Look at this. They raise money. They host Cars and Coffee every Saturday to back the community. They do Pharaohs of Clovis Car Club from 8 to 10. And they funnel all money to a local family to help pay for medical bills.
So, yeah, I mean, they have a story in here. There was a person with a young child with leukemia.
Yeah, Tristan Graham, 8-year-old, is a young child in Clovis battling leukemia for the second time. He's at Stanford for a bone marrow transplant. Monkey Dog has been raising money for them. I mean, how cool is that?
They donated $1,600 was the latest.
Far. Like,
wow.
And you know what, Clovis?
Do you think Starbucks is going to donate to this kid
at all
to help him?
No. Starbucks is going to put up a. I'll stop. I'm going to be careful. God. Anyways, Clovis says we welcome all businesses.
Oh, here we go.
Appreciate and support all businesses who choose to locate here, regardless of size. They are the backbone of the community, providing jobs for residents and contributing to the local economy. No. Wrong. No. So, anyways, that really upsets me. Like, when Clovis is all about, apparently buy local, support. What Clovis needs to say is, hey, Starbucks, sorry, we have a coffee shop there. Yeah. You can go, elsewhere, find another spot. And then what they can say is, oh, hey, Monkey Dog, we're going to help you by possibly lowering we want you to be successful. So let's maybe give you a tax cut for the next 3 years so you can be successful here and actually grow a better business and be competitive and create something awesome. Yeah. That's what the city should do.
So what's going to happen is now they're going to have this competition where they can't fight the big corporate monster, and the worst thing could happen, right?
Oh yeah.
Why don't they? Here's the thing. Okay. Then if Clovis wants to do that, why don't they stick a Starbucks right there in the middle of Old Town Clovis?
Right. That's a good point. No, they won't do that, would they?
Well, because they want to. Sorry, I mean, my opinion is they want to keep this idea that they have this small town appeal.
Exactly,
we're the small town people.
Yeah, they want to keep that little image.
But
the rest of Clovis,
screw you. We're going to go for the money, and then politicians can turn around and say, guess what? We provided 50 other jobs from Starbucks, but in the meantime, You know, they're not going to talk about all the other businesses and people that lost their jobs, you know.
Oh, right.
And who's to say that, you know, I don't know anything about this monkey dog, but who's to say that these local employers don't treat their employees better than a corporate system would? Because people that can't work at certain places that shut down because corporations come in, now they got to go work for the corporation
100%.
and they got to.
So anyways, you know what?
Here's
support
what I think.
Monkey Dog.
Yes, do that. Support Monkey Dog. Here's what I think we need to do. We need to have a segment on here. I'm just going to propose this, and then we'll feel it out as it goes. I think we need to have a segment. It's called the Jack Wagon of the Week.
Oh, I like that.
Where we talk about that. And I think City of Clovis, you guys are definitely the Jack Wagons of the week.
Jack Wagon of the week.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah,
this is
so
sad.
City of Clovis, man, you really make me upset. You do not. Is it Jack Wagon hyphenated?
I don't know. I haven't thought it out that much.
I think so. I think it's a hyphenated word.
That is terrible. Yes, please, people, go support Monkey Dog.
Yeah, I'm going to go there today. I'm going to go there after
Awesome.
this.
Awesome.
Jack Wagon of the Week, Clovis, California. One more here, speaking of local stuff here. Did you guys know that the largest Costco in the United States is coming to Fresno?
I didn't know it was the largest.
Yeah, the largest in the
Is
world.
Is that the one they're going to build over by 99 and Herndon?
Yeah, it's going to have a drive-through car wash, 32 gas pumps, 889 parking spaces. And instead of the standard size of a Costco, which is 140,000 square feet, this will be 241,000 square feet.
Wow.
Now, they do say that 47,000 square feet is reserved for e-commerce fulfillment. So they're going to be doing, essentially they're building
What
a
is
bigger.
that?
So all the, when you go to Costco.com and you purchase, so 47,000 is just going to be a warehouse of stuff so people can buy it and ship it. It's going to be a shipping center.
Oh, a shipping center.
Yeah,
that's why.
But
okay.
it's still, the shopping area is still going to be almost 50,000 square feet bigger than even a normal Costco. So,
wow.
To put that in perspective, the old Costco in Clovis was, and I'm trying to remember, I saw this the other day, was I think 100,000 square feet.
You're talking about the one that they shut down?
When they shut down. The new one is 140,000 square feet.
Okay.
This is 241,000.
That is nuts.
It's going to be massive.
But they do have a car wash included with that.
Now,
so that takes up more
that
space.
doesn't include the warehouse.
That's just the warehouse itself?
That's
it's
just
not
the warehouse.
Car wash?
Yeah, that's the warehouse. So it's going to be on a 22.4 acre lot.
Wow.
It's huge.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because that area, they built up some houses, and this is right across from that new Target, and there's a new cinema right there. I'm not sure what corner they're building it on. There's two corners that are open. There's one that's by the golf course out there.
Okay.
There's a golf course out there, and then there's the other one that's right across from Target, that lot that's open. So I'm not sure which one they're building it on.
Yeah,
but I don't know, man. How do you feel about that?
I don't know. I don't have any thoughts on
You don't have any
about what, just it being a giant Costco?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of like, I go to Costco all the time. I love Costco. But it's just getting crazy. I mean, it's just like, it's like Target, Walmart, Costco, Sam's Club.
Yeah.
That's where you have to shop. That's it.
There are no more. We had to go get some shoes for our girl, and we realized there's no more baby stores. There's only one Carter's. Like, there used to be dedicated baby stores. Like, there's no dedicated stores anymore. I mean, it sucks. I mean, here's the thing. It's tough. It's one of those things where you go, okay, like, dedicated stores, old local stores, were more expensive than Amazon, Walmart, etc. Like, they were. You go to a local store, it's more expensive. Mm-hmm. So really, a lot of it is like we're angry about it. Like, it's really a bummer. It's like, oh man. However, if we're honest with ourselves, the majority of us for the last at least 5 years, maybe 10 years, have gone to stores and then gone online and purchased the item.
Sure.
So like, we don't, in theory, we're like, oh, this sucks. But in real life, we're just upset that those stores don't exist because we can't browse things.
Well, yes. I mean, what do you do, though? As a consumer, I mean, you're always going to, they have you hooked in. You're going to go for the lower price.
Of course.
Right? So what do you do?
Yeah. Nothing. I mean, that's the thing. That's our fault. We want that.
Let me ask you this. Do you think that there's going to be a boomerang effect at some point, though, that these stores are just going to get way too big. I mean, listen, we're already seeing, actually, this is kind of hitting the studios, right? I mean, you got Disney and you've got Warner Brothers, and we're seeing that a lot of these places, especially with the streaming and stuff. I know it's a little off topic, but with the streaming and stuff, these places have gotten so big, so massive. My point is that they're kind of imploding, right? Yeah. So do you think that at some point, like some of these stores, that they might actually implode? There might be a dry up somehow of the market somewhere, and it's going to go back to mom and pop at some point.
I think, to be honest with you, I think it's too late.
Really?
I think people are going to try, but it's so expensive now to start a business. It's too hard. It really is. It's very hard to be a mom and pop business. I do some consulting for small companies on the side, and I was just working with somebody who is starting a small cottage food industry.
Okay.
And, they're at the point where they can't make it themselves. In cottage food industry, you can apply for a cottage license, which means you can make things out of your home or a small commercial kitchen without having to get inspected and all that sort of stuff. So you can kind of bypass certain things. And they're at the point where they went from, being able to make it in their kitchen at a small commercial kitchen to now they need to make, instead of making like 300 pounds of product, they need to make 1,000 pounds, which, you come to a company like our production facility, that's like nothing. And we're not Hershey, right?
Yeah.
So you literally, there used to be smaller companies out there where I could say, hey, go to this place, they can do 1,000 pounds for you. There's no, at this point, this person has no way to expand their business. Because there are no small companies. Like, I explained, look, here's this, I found one company that might be willing to do it, but there's quite a bit of work that you have to do to make it happen, because there's regulations, and also it's not just, hey, can you make my product? It's, hey, can you do my nutritional facts? Can you do my legal packaging? Can you order the stuff correctly? And then you go, well, can I order the packaging, small quantities? Well, not from America anymore, not from some small people. To get it at a decent cost, you'll be ordering it overseas, in which case you have to order,
bulk
60,000 of these bags.
Yeah.
So really, a small business, it's hard. So imagine being a small mom and pop store. Same sort of thing. You're going to have to get inventory. It's expensive. You're going to have to work with a distributor. Expensive. You're going to have to convince people to come to your store. Expensive. You're going to have to advertise. Expensive. You're going to have to do all of these things. Then you're going to have to be convenient. Expensive. You're going to be using DoorDash or somebody to deliver your goods, giving them a big chunk of your money. Expensive. You're going to have to buy rent, which is insane. Expensive. It's just every single. You're gonna have to get an employee. An employee now is, you can't just get a high school kid. A high school kid's $19 an hour. Plus you're paying insurance and everything like that. Your true costs are probably $35 an hour after you do everything.
Wow.
Expensive. You can't just start a business anymore. You can't. So a lot of people started doing those home businesses on Facebook during COVID. That was a big thing. But they're all getting shut down. They're getting, cities are cracking down on them. The government shut them down, because remember, you'd buy stuff and you do it via Venmo.
Yeah.
Then they said, wait a second, all of these small businesses have opened up on social media, and they're all collecting money via Cash App and Venmo and everything. Well, we can't have that. Now we're going to make sure that anybody who makes $600, we're going to audit, and then we're going to say, it looks like you have a business. Did you get a business license? Did you pay your business taxes? Did you do this? Did you do that? So everybody got scared. So even starting a side company to sell cookies out of your house, better not sell too many. If you're selling a dozen for $20, you better not sell more than a couple hundred dozen, or you're going to jail for not paying your business taxes. So it's very, very hard. So I think in theory,
they've got the whole system captured.
Yeah, I think yes.
Ultimately,
I think there is a possibility, but in order for that to happen, a lot of things are going to have to implode.
Well, the governments would have to collapse.
Yeah, a lot of things are going to have to collapse.
Because
I would like to say that mom and pop stores, I think there's definitely a want. I think consumers want to do that. I can feel that. Right? I can feel the very fact that you're asking the question means you're feeling it. People are feeling it.
Well, here's the deal. I'm shopping on Amazon, man, and I'm almost sometimes sick to my stomach. I'm just I'm just sick of Amazon. Yeah. I'm sorry. They do have the great deals. You do get the item right, at your door. At some point, I'm just like, man, I'm sick of this. I'm just sick of it. I don't know how else to explain it.
Also, it takes away, and it's silly. It's like, oh, it's so much easier, but it's also one more way for people not to leave their house. You have less interaction.
Yeah.
Like everything. And you go to a store and people are terrible to like the checkout clerks.
Oh, yeah.
They're terrible. I'm like, oh my God, what is wrong? This used to not happen. People are terrible inside of a
They
store.
don't know how to react with people.
They're angry. Like, oh, I scanned something wrong. And they're like, oh my God, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, geez, person. Like,
yeah.
But it's, that we're at the point where, yes, I think we want that small mom and pop local. However, it's rigged. I do not think it's possible unless there's a big collapse because they've made it too hard.
And to go back to another point you made, I mean, a big part of that was that $600, and that was thanks to old Uncle Joe.
Oh yeah,
in the White House, he did that immediately when he came in. Remember, immediately took it down from what was it? Used to be able to make what, 10,000 a year without
10,000
reporting
a year,
on the side.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden he took it down to 600. Really? Okay.
Yep.
So yeah, yeah, man, that just I think you're right. Unfortunately, I mean, it's sad to see that go away.
Yeah, but I mean, it's hard. It's, I mean, look at this. Perfect. We just talked about a story. This family, Monkey Dog Coffee.
Yeah.
What did they do? They opened up a small business, and they're succeeding. And what's happening? The very city that said we support you is saying, hey, by the way, we're going to put a national chain next to you who's going to crush you.
Yeah.
They're going to sell coffee for cheaper. They're going to have a drive-through. They're going to be faster.
They've already got the marketing, the brand name.
They're going to have the marketing. They're going to have it, and they're going to crush you.
Yeah.
Good luck. Oh, and Starbucks doesn't even have to make money because they'll subsidize it for a couple years. If they'll make sure that company does well and succeeds, so you're not there anymore. Like, they will do that.
I mean, I think there has to be something that comes out of this because every time that's just kind of the law of the universe, right? Every time you put so much pressure on certain things, there's always little things that squeeze out on the sides.
Yeah.
Right. Something will happen, but I don't know when or what that is or what that even looks like.
Like, in theory, I think people might go back to like bartering, trading goods. Because
I was thinking that too earlier. I was thinking, in the 70s. It's funny, in the 70s it went that way because we had basically the collapse of the money in the 70s. The inflation was crazy in the 70s. Yeah. And that's what the big talk was. Go back to bartering. Go back to bartering.
I read a. I think I've talked about this before. I forget his name, but I read a story about a guy who ended up becoming very wealthy during the 70s. And his thing was he saw it coming, and he literally stocked up on cigarettes and ammo.
Really?
He sold everything he had, bought cigarettes and ammo, and then would barter and trade and sell. And he came out like a millionaire.
But see, they've already captured that because remember, the same thing happened with COVID, and you had guys that had garages full of toilet paper and hand sanitizer, and they
sued him and put him to prison.
Yeah, they put them into prison.
Yep.
But it was okay if Amazon charged you an arm and a leg for hand sanitizer.
100%.
But this guy that's charging you an arm and a leg, if you want to buy it, you didn't have to buy it. You're not forced to buy it from this guy.
That guy went and bought sanitizer from a bunch of Dollar Tree stores, saw it coming. And what they do? They ruined his life.
They ruined his life. They threw him in jail.
And they stole all of his stuff. Do you remember that? They also took all the stuff and then sold it themselves.
And what did they? There's a law. What is that law about the some kind of consumer? They got him on some kind of consumer overpricing thing. I can't remember what it's called.
I don't even know.
But it's okay for Walmart. It's okay for Target to do it.
Right.
It's okay for
Amazon.
Laws, price gouging. Yeah, it was a price gouging. Some kind of price gouging laws. It's okay for all those guys to do it, but all those corporations do it. But you have some guy that's trying to. And people can be pissed at the one guy that had it in his garage. But, I mean, he was trying to, the system is in place.
Yeah, I mean,
he sees it coming. He sees what's happening. He's like, okay, I'll buy it now cheap, and I'll sell it for more later. Yeah. That's what you do.
That's what happened. And honestly...
Let me ask you this. Can they throw that at, we're going back to homes.
Yeah.
You bought a house in the
100%.
70s, and it's worth you bought it for $100,000. Yep. It's worth $1 million now. Mm-hmm. Can they turn around and tell you you're price gouging?
Exactly. Same thing.
And say, you got to sell it for $100,000.
And I'll tell you what, it's even worse because now there's a housing crisis. So you're now selling your house during a housing crisis? Like the government has said, we are in a housing crisis. And the reason we have homelessness and drug addiction and suicide is because we have a housing crisis. And the prices are too high and we don't have enough.
So can they do eminent domain?
So how dare you sell your house for profit? Same thing.
Well, no,
Literally the
can
same
they
thing.
come in and then take your house and then throw you in jail?
I mean, Probably.
And then take your house and say we're going to turn it into living space.
I mean, we're saying that kind of facetiously, but yes, I think they can, and they probably will eventually.
Wow.
I mean, I don't see why not. Think about it. Like, it's not that, like, just logically, let's stop and, like, clear our minds. We're not angry. They have done that to people who did it with hand sanitizer. Why wouldn't they do that for homes? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
that's a good point.
They do it to people for small things.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they do it to people for big things? It makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, people forget. We look at these little moments that happen, and we just kind of, we compartmentalize it. But one of the things that I try to do, I play like these mind games with myself. I look at things that happen in small ways that are menial, and I go, if we are taking this menial issue that means almost nothing, and the government or people are turning it into this massive situation, then why wouldn't we do that for something that's a problem, or at least perceived as a problem? You know what I mean? Like, if they're going to say that hand sanitizer from Dollar Tree was an issue, then why wouldn't they say, hey, when they're saying that in 10 years we're all going to die from global warming, then why wouldn't they say to you, you had a bonfire in your backyard during non-burn days, and the world's, like, you're killing our children.
Yeah.
You're going to prison. Like, why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
We're doing it over hand sanitizer. Why wouldn't we do it over
the penalty
the world?
for you going in is us taking your property.
Yeah. Why wouldn't we do it for when the world is, quote unquote, ending in 10 years? Think about that. They are literally
supposedly
saying the world is ending. Why wouldn't they then do that over something that's that big of a deal?
Yeah.
Of course they would. If we do it over small things, of course they'll do it over big things.
Well, we do have one thing in this country that a lot of other countries don't, and that's the Second Amendment.
Now.
So remember that, people. Remember that.
I'll tell you what, guys.
But one
get
thing,
ammo, because you can have. Remember what they did. You can keep your guns, but good luck getting ammo at this point.
Yeah. Well, I was also going to say, you're talking about that, and I the other thing too is you have to take the whole thing, right? Take the whole enchilada, as it were, and put it all put it all together here. We're talking Klaus Schwab. You will own nothing. We joke about that all the time, but you will own nothing and like it. And then you think about the crises, and you think about home ownership and this, and then all this, like what you're talking about. They can come in and get it, possibly. I mean, it's all fitting together. You got to be careful.
Yeah.
Hate to be a Debbie Downer on it, but it's could be a reality.
Have you heard about? Do you know about the whole civil asset forfeiture situation that's been going on?
No.
I'm going to dig into.
I love these rabbit holes, man. I love them.
I want everybody to just Google or maybe DuckDuckGo.
I don't even think you can trust DuckDuckGo anymore. You may have to brave it.
Yeah, you might. Just do some search about civil asset forfeiture.
Okay.
Now, this is a real thing. Civil asset forfeiture allows police to seize, and this is the craziest part, to seize your stuff and then either keep it and or sell it.
Okay.
Any property that they allege is involved in a crime. You do not need to be arrested or convicted of a crime. That is a true thing.
That's a federal law?
That is a federal law. Asset forfeiture. This is a true story. They can take your property because it was, quote, believed to be
involved in a crime.
Now, they do not have to prove it. You don't need to go to court. Nothing. And I'm going to tell you a couple. These are true stories. Let me show you some real stories here, and I can send some. I'll give you a whole bunch of stories here, but I'll put some links in the show notes. There is a number of stories that talk about how police have pulled people over who had cash on them. Actually, I'm going to pull up one specific story so I can show you. Let me see here.
Innocent people shouldn't lose cash.
So there's a bunch of these stories, but essentially, here's a classic story. Here's a Vietnamese immigrant and his business partner. They were on a trip to buy farmland.
Okay.
They're from New Mexico. They're driving along Interstate 40 in Oklahoma. A sheriff's deputy flipped on his lights, pulled them over. The two men, Nang Tai, and sorry, I might and Weishan Liu were on their way to a hotel in Oklahoma City. They planned to catch some sleep before heading in the morning to close a 10-acre plot of farmland. They agreed to buy $100,000.
Okay.
They brought that cash.
Those cash.
I mean, because that honestly, if you're buying land and you can do it cash, I want to point this out, guys. It's legal to buy things with cash. That's 100% legal. I know people think, oh my gosh, why they're doing that. It's no different than giving somebody signing it over via your mortgage. It's just cash. That is fine. That's totally legal to do. In fact, if you ever looked at your money, it says this is legal tender for any and all debts or whatever. It's 100% legal. These guys were driving. Ty says they got pulled over. He was a Vietnamese immigrant and father of two from Albuquerque. They were driving the speed limit. They had no idea of knowing at the time, but Ty and Lou were to begin an hours-long ordeal that would have them stripped of all their cash and searching for answers. The story is this. They had $100,000 in cash to bring for the property, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ty speaks English with a heavy accent. They told the officer they were headed to a hotel, yes, and they had cash on them. The deputies suspected they were involved in illegal activity and used civil asset forfeiture against them. They took the money. Deputies emptied a backpack suitcase full of cash, pulled apart the inside. They turned up no guns, drugs, or any illicit items. Nothing. Ty told his interrogators that he'd been saving up the money for years, and they were planning to use the land for farming. They kept saying this is illegal money. We said, okay, prove it. We didn't do anything wrong. The two men were released. No charges. They weren't even issued a traffic ticket. Nothing. They just let them go.
Okay.
What happened? The cops confiscated the $131,000, and they still never got it back.
Wow.
And this is happening.
Well, okay, this story was
everywhere.
From NBCnews.com, by the way, for those listening. And when, how long ago did this story happen? What was
this
the
is
date
2021.
on this? 2021, October 16th, 2021.
I can give you hundreds of these stories.
And it'll be in the show notes too, by the way, folks, the story.
So this is a thing that I want everybody to understand. There is laws that say that they can take anything they want from you as long as they, quote unquote, think
it might be used in a crime.
It might be used in a
criminal action. So,
and there is a ton of these stories. So you need to really take a look at this and do some searching. And this is a thing that's happening.
So that could you're talking not just cash. They could take anything. They could take cars.
Anything.
They could take homes.
Yep. If they assume that it is if it's your asset, they can come in and say, wait a second.
So let's just say this. Let's say that I was like super old school, and I'm not, but let's just say that I was, and I had $100,000 I've been saving all my life, and I stuck it in my mattress. And for some reason, somehow, we don't know how, but the police came in and did a search and say, well, we think something's going on in here. Oh, look in the mattress. Because maybe I spoke to a friend and I shouldn't have and told him where my money was. And then they come in here and they say, well, you've got money in your mattress. Does that mean this is a drug house? And they can literally take your house.
100%.
They can take your money.
Yep.
They can take your car.
Yep. That's the thing.
And then you've got to turn around and try to fight to get it back and spend money on lawyers and stuff. And good luck fighting the government, right?
100%. And that's what they say. They say that they can take money, cars, or any property, including your bank accounts, businesses, houses. They can seize anything that is yours.
Chickens. Clovis.
Yeah, this is true. This is a real thing. Policing for profit, perverse incentives. The fundamental issue with civil asset forfeiture is that the agency who seizes the property gets to keep and spend the proceeds. They are allowed to keep them. And this is because, and I'll tell you, this law is crazy, but they're allowed to do this because this law came originally to come in to say, in 1984, Congress passed the law to allow law enforcement agencies to retain proceeds from successful forfeitures because it was to stop the war on drugs. They can literally take your stuff. But here's the other issue that people have happened. They've won court cases about it, but by then the money has been spent, and then the law says there's nothing you can do.
So if they spend the money, they and you win a court your case in court, they're not required to then just somehow get the money out of the city budget and give it back to you?
Yep.
It's just gone?
It's gone because that money, your property's gone. Here's a story. I'll post this. The vast majority of asset forfeiture nowadays involves highway traffic stops. Police will look for rental cars with out-of-state licenses, pull them over for minor violations, changing lanes without a blinker, following too closely. Then if police, quote, determine the occupant seems suspicious, that's all they need to know. They will search a vehicle. They can take the vehicle. They can take cash. They can take anything. Policing for profit incentives. That's another big issue because you can. There's no procedural protections. It's a huge issue.
Wow.
Yeah. In 2009, Russ Caswell, the DEA sought to seize the motel built by his father. This guy, Russ Caswell, owned a motel that his father built. Okay. His father actually built this motel. The motel was valued at $1 million. Authorities never suspected Caswell of having committed a crime or even benefited from one. Instead, the rationale was that there had been 15 drug-related arrests over a 14-year period at the hotel.
Okay, yeah.
So he owns a motel. Over 14 years, there was 15 arrests that occurred at the hotel.
And it says that he had rented 200,000 rooms in that time period.
He cooperated with all law enforcement activities. After several years, with the help of a pro bono counsel was able to get his motel back. The DEA questioned whether the lawsuit admitted that he was tasked with finding properties to be forfeited. The agency wouldn't go over a property unless the owner had over $50,000 in equity. Like literally, they stole his hotel.
Wow.
Bam, it's ours now. This is an insane idea. They have tracked just since let me see here. In 2014, in 1 year, in 2014, $4.5 billion were taken by police in civil asset forfeiture. In 1 year.
What?
So this is something that people really need to be aware
I have never.
of.
This is a shocker. This is more shocking than your dishwasher.
Yeah.
I have never heard of this in my life. I mean, I've heard of them taking property. Like, they always, like, if they pull you over and they suspect you of something, right, that the idea is that they seize it. Right. But I didn't realize how these laws were written and they could keep it, essentially.
Isn't that crazy,
and good luck
man?
trying to get it back.
Yeah.
That would be, now, to combine it with your dishwasher, is there any way we can get them to come in and take your dishwasher out?
Dude, I know. I found drugs in my dishwasher.
Just seize your dishwasher and then have them do all the work getting it out, and then just put the new one in.
FBI, CIA, NSA, if you're listening, I think there might be drugs in my dishwasher.
Just take the dishwasher out. That's all we need.
Just be careful with the
and
counters.
You can have it.
The counters, no drugs in those counters. Leave those.
Or the cabinets, but the dishwasher, and you can have the dishwasher. Keep it. You might need one.
How do we got into that because of businesses. They'll come take your
We're talking about businesses, taking businesses, and this is kind of an interesting conversation today. And I know we're coming to the end of it. This is an interesting conversation and podcast because of talking about homes and businesses and just things like this.
Yeah.
I think people, I love these rabbit holes because we all need to be aware of this stuff, man.
Oh, yeah.
And this is stuff I didn't even know. Like in 1984, that war on drugs, I knew there was something a little nefarious about that. There was a lot of stuff going on with that war on drugs back in those days that, I lived through. I don't even think you weren't even probably born yet. But
what year was this?
84.
That was
Ronald Reagan.
I'm not born yet.
Ronald Reagan. But, so interesting stuff.
It's nuts, man.
Yeah.
It is absolutely nuts. So sorry. Now I'm going to go back to the thing you and I talked about.
Are we going to talk about this, or do you want to wait till next time?
I'll just talk about it really quick.
Okay.
I'm not going to get to. I just want to say to everybody, if you are conservative, if you are a Democrat, if you are anything, if you're somebody who votes, I would really recommend in our show notes to watch this video. It's I don't want to scare you. It's 7 hours long.
You don't have to watch it all in one time.
You have to watch it all at one time.
Break it up.
Honestly, there are multiple YouTube videos.
It's like a mini series.
Yes, they break it down. There's 6 interviews.
Okay.
It's with every one of the leading Republican presidential candidates except for Donald Trump.
Okay.
They're really, really interesting. And it's Tucker Carlson, love him or hate him. He is an incredible interviewer. Something that I would say that I thought was really interesting. Most times when somebody gets interviewed, especially a conservative, if it's a conservative being interviewed by a liberal, they try to attack them on things like right now, like January 6th, or what do you think about Donald Trump?
Abortion.
Yes. And the thing is, us as people who are conservative don't care about those things at this point. Like, we want to hear about how and why and what else. Same thing for like a conservative interviewing a liberal. They're going to attack them on January 6th, abort, same sort of stuff. Like, it's all the things that like we know.
Biden crime family.
Yes, we know those things. Like, they're just trying to get you gotchas, right?
Yeah.
This was Tucker saying, what do you think about this? And then grilling them. But how? How are you going to fix it? So a lot of people are like, oh, well, if it was me, I would stop the war. How? How are you going to do it?
Yeah.
Oh, I would. Tell me, what are your steps?
Yeah, what's your plan?
What's your plan? You can't just tell me how. So it was one of those things where the first interviews I've ever seen with presidential candidates where I really felt like, and Tucker was great. He said, yeah, of course I'm going to grill them, and I'm going to make them, I don't care if they're upset. And he said it great. He said, the reason is these people are people who are saying that they are smart enough and good enough to run the country that my children are going to grow up in.
Yeah.
So if they can't answer the questions, if they can't answer the question, they worked for me. If they can't answer those questions as somebody that I employ, essentially, I don't want to vote for them. So he grilled. It was great. I mean, you saw some of these guys crack. It's like Pence just cracks. Asa crack. It was really like you see them just go like, oh, they were not ready for
because
it.
These guys are soundbite politicians.
They
give you the sound bites. They give you all the talking points. They do the
he doesn't let them.
They do the polls. They find out what
he was like. Tucker was like a dog, like just with his.
And he wouldn't let go like a pit bull. Just wouldn't let go.
It was great. And then I would say the one person who came out on top.
I'm gonna guess. Let me guess.
Yeah.
Can I tell you who it is? Vivek.
Dude, yes, 100%.
You know why? Because I'll tell you why. I've heard him on other. I haven't heard this one, and I'm going to go and listen to this one.
Watch him.
But I'm going to tell you what. I've heard him on other podcasts, and he does have a plan every time. Even if they don't ask him,
100%.
He goes into. He says, "This is what I'm going to do, and this is how I'm going to do it." He goes into it completely. The guy is the guy. I knew nothing of the guy. And now that I've listened to a few of the podcasts and stuff with him on it, being interviewed, I'm very, very, very impressed by the guy.
Dude, you have to.
Amazing.
You have to. You have to listen to it.
I'm going to listen to it. I'm going to listen to this one.
I think you can actually go if you're on Twitter. I think there's the show note. In the show notes, I have a video that's all 7 hours. I think if you go to like Tucker's, he has them on Twitter broken down into each interview. So
okay.
Watch those.
And here's the thing, too. I have seen these little sound bites or these little clips out there floating around saying that Tucker destroyed this person's political career. I mean, I get from this blade because they couldn't answer the questions, right? So literally, this is very interesting. I did not see it, and I am going to go watch it. Yeah,
watch
for sure.
It is. I mean, they're great. They're really, really, really well done. It's just, so watch it.
Now, these are all the conservative candidates, though, right?
Correct. Yeah, it's only conservative candidates right now. I would love, same thing, though. I would love to watch a very similar, I have never seen wasn't a debate, it was a conversation, but I would love to see this with every candidate, with conservative, liberal candidates, Democratic candidates, everybody, because I would love to see somebody from their own side actually grill them to get real answers. That is so rare. That is so rare to see. Typically, it's a Democrat interviewing a Democrat, and it's softball. It's making them look good, or a Republican interviewing a Republican, and it's making them look good. This is the first time I've seen somebody go, I don't care if you look bad, because if you presume that you're smart enough to run my country, you better answer the question, or I'm not going to let this go.
So there's either two things. Either if you don't answer the question, there's either two things to come away, to surmise from that, and that would be one would be they don't know what they're talking about.
Right.
Or two, they're scared of telling you how they're going to get there because 100%. Probably going to take away your freedoms and everything else, essentially. But that is amazing, and you're right, and that's what we have to do. I think, and I'll tell you what, and that shouldn't even be on the national level. It should trickle all the way down
100%.
Through state and even local, which I think is much more important than even the presidential. We should do that with every candidate for everything.
Oh, yeah.
They should be grilled, and we're going to find out what they're going to do. And if they don't do it, then we say, guess what? You got to go. We got to get somebody else.
100%.
Because they are working for us, and people forget that.
They forget. They're not our kings. They're not our. We are their bosses.
Now, let me ask you this, because you run a company as a boss. what do? You have to be very diligent. You have to constantly be watching your employees, right? Make sure that everything, and because of all, you're under a lot of rules and regulations and everything. Point being this, we should do the same thing with our elected leaders.
100%.
We should be watching them. We are the bosses.
We are their boss.
We should be watching them constantly and making sure they're doing something, that they're staying on the path. And when they get off, you need to get back to work
same
over
sort of
here.
thing. If they then
Time to get off your break.
cheat, and do everything else, you get rid of them.
Yeah.
And honestly, our Constitution says we should do that.
Yeah.
If they're tyrannical in any way, we get rid of them. That's what we should do.
Yep. Clovis chickens.
Yep.
I'm just saying.
Honestly, though, I don't understand. If the majority of people want chickens, how dare the city say you can't have them?
Yeah. Well, if those people in the city, it's not the city saying that, it's those people in the city at that time saying you can't have it. And if those people do not agree with your values, and if they don't line up, then there needs to be a movement. See, and this is the problem. We're all very busy. I understand, and listen. I'm not out there, protesting or anything. But I'm just saying that you need to be very vigilant in making sure that these people are aligning with your values. If they're not doing the job, then something.
Fair, yeah.
We need to make sure that they are doing the job that they were saying they were going to do when we elected them.
100%. Now, I would love to get Vivek. Apparently, his name is Vivek. I didn't know.
Vivek
I'd love
Ramaswamy.
to get Vivek on our show. I'm actually going to try to get him on our show. I don't
Really?
know. I think we could have a couple weeks ago, honestly, because he did a lot of podcasts. I think
He's so big now.
I think after this interview, it's tough. He actually just tied with DeSantis in polls. So I mean,
wow,
it's gonna be hard because a couple weeks ago I would have been able to nail it. Now,
well, I've listened to a little bit of DeSantis, and the thing is that he doesn't answer like, how do you do it? We're gonna get there, but how? We're gonna get rid of the woke. Okay, how? We're gonna. It's like how?
He's
the only other candidate that has done that somewhat has been Trump. He has come out and said, "Here's what I want to do."
Sure.
When he hasn't been going crazy off of calling people this and calling people that. But when he's focused on that, he does have some kind of vision of how to get there.
Now there's certain
and
things,
Vivek too. Now,
sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. I
go
apologize.
ahead.
Certain things I do. I wish Trump was there because Trump does do things like, how would you end the war with Ukraine? I'd end it in a day.
But how?
It would be over if I was president. We wouldn't even be in this war.
Great impression.
And it's like, how? One phone call for me, and we wouldn't be in this war anymore. And I'm like, I think, and people, for some reason with Trump, a lot of people just go, yeah, that's true. Whatever he would do.
Well, I think now to his defense, I will say this, that he does mention that he would sit down with the two parties and work it out. And that's his whole deal, right? The art of the deal. I mean, it's like, he's going to sit down, he's going to figure out what does Russia want, what does Ukraine want, but, and then work something in between.
Yeah, what I like was Vivek actually gave, these are the things that I would do because I've already studied it and I know what they want. And it all comes down for, Vivek was great. And same thing with Trump. The two things that they are both on par with, which I think is very important, is we do not need our American boys. We do not need people's mothers and sons going and dying in Ukraine for what?
For another country that we have no idea what's going on.
And I understand that there is another. And part of me said, and here's my thing. Part of me says, yeah, but look what happened. There's injustice there. We should go, do something about it. I get that. However, when a politician says that, it's fake because, well, they're not in every country in Africa where there's warlords sending our military in.
Yeah. True.
They're not in Rwanda sending military to save kids from whatever. They're not sending our military into China to save the Uyghurs from enslavement camps. They're not in, BS has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with something else.
Yeah.
Because if they really did believe it, we'd be elsewhere.
Yeah.
Not so. That's the thing. I don't.
Well, and here's the thing that just dawned on me right now too. Talking about the two candidates they're leading. What do they have in common? Vivek.
Exactly. Both not politicians.
They're not politicians. They're both businessmen. They're both business leaders.
That's it.
And they've created successful companies. Yeah.
And that's it.
So
100%. All right, guys. That's it.
Wow.
It's a long one. That was a long one. The thing I enjoy, I'm going to say this again, I said it a lot. Whenever I do a show, what's an Eric and Mac show, we have a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun. So
it's
appreciate
the two cast.
Yes. You know what? I saw The Flash last night. We'll talk about it next time. I'm going to listen to the PTI Pardon the Intermission podcast.
There you go.
There's a link in the show notes. Listen to that.
That's
and
a little.
Next time, I'll discuss my views versus.
Well, we tried to get, and sometimes we'll have him on here too. He'll help us out, Jason from PTI.
This is just Jason who talked about it.
And Jason, So we did a review. PTI is an entertainment podcast, just real quick. At Jason and myself do, and we talk a lot of entertainment things. Anyway, he did a review on The Flash. I tried to get him on here today. He was busy. He unfortunately couldn't make it.
Boo.
I know. I wish he could have, because that would have been interesting. It would have been an interesting review to see you guys talk about The Flash and what you thought.
Yeah. So we'll do that another time.
And maybe by that time I'll see it myself.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna pay for it, but I'll see it myself.
Don't pay for it. Yeah, it's not worth it.
I know where the review's going already.
All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Yes.
If you don't mind, check out our site, nofocusradio.com. Shoot us a note. There's an area on the bottom that says "Contact Us." Join the Discord server. It's a lot of fun. You can talk with a lot of guests who are on the show have been on there. I know Jason Dam, who's been on the show. He's part of the Discord server.
Austin.
Stephen Cochran's part of the Discord server. Austin's part of the Discord server. My cousin Stephanie's part of the Discord server. There's a lot of fun people in there. So join, chat, have some fun.
Yeah.
And then
buy us a coffee.
Yeah, if you appreciate the show, if you like the show,
get a lot of value out of the show, please return that value. We'd appreciate that also.
Yeah.
And we'll trust me, we'll go buy our coffee from Monkey Dog.
Yeah, Mac, I'll go right after this, actually, on my way to a birthday
buy us
party.
a coffee and we'll take it down to Monkey Dog.
That's right. Thank you guys. I appreciate it, and we'll talk soon.
All right, later.